Hi, Kaizen here, and today we'll be breaking down as many Easter eggs and lore references we can find in Valorant's title INITIATE.V25. Now, even though this trailer came out in early 2025, it's still impactful today because it foreshadowed a lot of the events that we saw so far, and even one that we'll see in the future most likely very soon, like the Vulture, which is the Valorant Protocol's craft crashing, and possibly Gecko being the one piloting it. Now, this trailer focuses a lot on what I and many believe is Omega Earth for a number of reasons. And one of the reasons why I say that we're most likely focusing on Omega agents is because we see these individuals out and about in public. Jett, Gecko, and Phoenix specifically. These guys are wanted criminals. Now, I do want to say that Cypher does have the ability to wipe people's information off the internet. And Jett kind of teased that in a voicemail to Brimstone.
I can't do this anymore. I don't care how many times Cypher needs to scrub my face off the web. I'm going out like everyone else. I know for a fact he can make it happen if you fund it.
However, it feels a little bit unlikely that he will be able to wipe their internet presence when both Jett and Phoenix specifically were on many news stations. But the possibility of Cypher doing so is still out there. Regardless, this trailer starts off with us seeing the likes of Jett, Gecko, Yoru, Phoenix, and Raze in LA. Mainly because Gecko invited everyone for food and a good time. We see the likes of Raze just styling on people, which, you know what, it's kind of fair. She is Brazilian. Football is basically in her blood. And we also see Wingman make an appearance here. But besides the agents having a good time, here we see Omen and Vice are playing Knockout, which is part of the Radiant Entertainment System's bundle. And from what we can see, it's a 2D fighting game, and it looks like Omen is very, very passionate about it. I guess in a way you can say canonically Vice is the better gamer, for now anyways. But now the question is, can she beat Brimstone?
Now listen up. Today's mission is this. I'll leave you to it.
Yo, break time. How old is Brim? Hell yeah! Whoa.
Pass the sticks, kid. Time for this old dog to show you a few tricks. What was it again? Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start.
Which, from the Radiant Entertainment System trailer, he definitely has some tricks up his sleeve when it comes to this gaming collection. Next we see Killjoy and Clove at a rave, and big props to this guy for pointing out that KJ does go clubbing from time to time.
Let's make this extraction quick. After this, I'm going clubbing 5 time zones away, and a girl needs a moment to change.
And I also want to point out that we do see Agent 27 stepping into the Valorant HQ. If you pause right here, you'll see that he has 2 triangles at the bottom of his pants. This opens the door for a lot of questions and speculations. Like, was he really a Scion's member, or did they potentially just hire him for a job? And if he was a Scion's member, how much does he know of Omen's past? Of course, these 2 triangles together could be a completely different organization or represent something else. Regardless, even though the agents wanted to have a little bit of relaxation, duty calls. And KO kind of makes reference to this in an email talking about how some of the agents are kind of upset that their rest and relaxation time got cut short. We also see that Brimstone is monitoring all the agents too. I guess he didn't take KO's advice about enjoying his time off either. And while the agents are gearing up for a fight, it looks like Jet looks a little bit surprised. And there's a really cool transitions between Jet's hands and Chamber's. Here, we see Chamber looking in his reflection. Now, this can mean a lot of things. First, we know Chamber really likes to dress in style, so he could be just checking himself out. Or this could be a reference to Man in the Mirror, him looking at his reflection and thinking about all the crimes and atrocities that he committed during his lifetime. Namely, the whole fracture incident where he and his counterpart was responsible for blowing it up and harming a lot of innocent scientists in the process too.
Brim, hey, it's me. Sorry, I keep thinking about Everett Lint. They were light years ahead of us with their LRC program. It was sublime. The data on radionite exposure, the biome acceleration. Even in its failure, it can teach us so much. And yet, seeing the husk of the facility? It's the people. All those people. Brim, they weren't even soldiers. They were scientists. They didn't have a chance to... Sorry, I have to go. Call me back, please.
Here we see another city, which I want to say this is the Paris La Défense. Even though if you compare the two images side by side, they look a little different. Part of that could just be the fact that this is Omega Earth, and not everything is an exact one-to-one copy. And someone in the Valorant Lore / art Discord did point out the fact that maybe Valorant couldn't copy it one-to-one because of copyright issues. Buildings and architecture does fall under that category of protected artworks. We also see Phoenix is walking through the streets. If we look at the poster here, it does say Adeyemi Live, which is Phoenix's surname, Jamie Adeyemi, who we know now was referencing Phoenix's sister, Mary Adeyemi, who will be performing at the First Light event in Paris. I can't really read out the rest of the posters, but if you guys can figure out what each one says, feel free to comment them down below. And honestly, these transitions have been fire. Here we see the agents are walking through another old building. And if you pause right here, you'll see Tejo's drone clearing the corners for both Jet and Chamber. This was most likely foreshadowing Valorant Protocol's operation on Corrode. Here we briefly see a crystallized purple structure, which was also referencing Corrode, where we see many of them on, and that we also know is a key element for the Mega Spike. And for some strange reason, we see Raze's nade is being disintegrated here, as well as us briefly seeing Jet during her vacation time at Iso's place. Which kind of lets me know that this trailer has different time periods. And this kind of leads me to think that this kickoff trailer could be just telling us future events that are going to be happening in Valorant's story. Or possibly we could be getting a different POV here of their counterparts. Shoot, for all we know, it could be a little bit of both. Here we see a very barren land with more of the purple rocks / crystals that we saw earlier. I'm not gonna lie, the ground really reminds me of the Scions of Hourglass for some strange reason. Then we see a massive, and I mean massive, vehicle rolling over the area. This shot right here gives me major Star Wars vibes, as well as soldiers next to it that just kind of gives you an idea of how big this vehicle really is. Next, I want to point out that if you pause right here, we see certain colors that look very similar to the tier 50 player card called Prismatic Pathways, which we now know was a reference to Waylay. And we can see parts of its reflections through Raze's eyes. And I think these sticky bombs are related to Agent 27's abilities. The one titled Special Delivery, which he can bounce off walls and create a small explosion. This scene right here was already teased by Valorant itself. We can see where Agent 27 launches a projectile device. One of the things that I really want to note is that the trail he leaves behind is also purple. A lot of things that are related to Radiantite or Radiant's abilities has that same color. I wouldn't be surprised if Tejo's abilities have something to do with the Interverse and or Radiantite itself. After we see Chamber hit a very sick slide, him and Jet were able to take out 3 armed guards who work for Atlas. Regardless, they're no match for these Valorant agents. And since these boxes are orange, we can assume that this Radianite is from Omega Earth. Again, making it seem that we are watching Omega Earth's POV right now. Here we get two images of both Alpha and Omega Earth. I really want to focus on the fact that this Earth has a little bit of purple shining on it. Again, purple is a big important color in Valorant's story for some strange reason. Every time we see it, especially between these two Earths, I feel like it has something to do with the Interverse. But that's just my theory. Next, we see Brimstone sending an orbital laser from the heavens. This is either an oil refinery or a shipping yard. I'm not entirely sure. But the question is, why would he be doing it? Well, it probably has something to do with that location where Vice and Raze were fighting the other armed guards. So maybe Brimstone is just helping them out. On the left side, this is Paris. The top right, I want to say, is Bangkok. And the bottom right is most likely Canada. These are the three major locations of Valorant's next international tournaments, where the first Masters will be held in Bangkok and the second one in Canada, before we finish everything up with Champs in Paris. And we can translate this into Kingdom commemorates the first light. At the bottom, we see that Adeyemi is expected on stage. Again, this is most likely referring to Mary Adeyemi, Phoenix's sister. Here it says Kingdom promises a year-long party, which is reference to the email that we saw on Brimstone's laptop, talking about how Kingdom plans on celebrating the first light, which was an event that shut down the majority of Earth's power. And here we see a sentence that starts off with events planned before it's cut off.
¿Qué hubo, Cucho? El parche está listo.
Here we get a better shot of Tejo's pants and the possible hourglass symbol. Again, these are just two triangles that are similar to the hourglass symbol. We don't know for a fact if it is, but there definitely is a reason why they're showing us this on purpose. The interesting thing about this scene is the fact that Clove is standing around rubble that is floating in the air, which leads me to believe that maybe a spike explosion happened, or it could be another type of weather phenomenon going on. We know that certain parts of Omega Earth has drastically changed because of their climate, and this could be one of those phenomenons that is a little bit different than the others. I know in one of the TDM maps there's like a big storm that doesn't seem normal, so there could be a connection between those two. Here we see Vice and Raze in a very sticky situation, where Raze is the one who's injured and Vice is probably thinking of a way to get them out of this sticky situation. One of the things I like about this trailer is like how they just do the transitions between characters. Here we see Tejo in two different destinations, one in the Valorant Protocol HQ and another on top of a building, which I want to say this is Paris. Again, this could be in different time periods or different Earths altogether. I feel like the majority of this trailer, we are seeing the POV of Omega Earth, and we're getting small glimpses of Alpha Earth agents. But that part is just me theorizing. Here we see a massive scar going from his neck to his chest, and in other images we have seen scars on his arms. This could be anything, but I feel like it could have been an aftermath of Tejo possibly bonding with another Radivore, or at least surviving one. This dialogue between him and Brimstone definitely just tells me that the two have some kind of past together, where he casually says, "How's it going, old man? Is the crew ready?" And lastly, we see the Kingdom Industries logo here, which is different than the Kingdom Corporation, where Kingdom Industries is on Omega Earth and the Kingdom Corporation is on Alpha Earth. And it looks like they are working with these individuals but we have seen Kingdom Industries work with Atlas in the past. Regardless, this image kind of just tells us that we've been watching Omega Earth's POV for the majority of it. And then if you pause right here, we see that the Vulture, which is the Valorant Protocol's ship, is engulfed in flames. And there's also like a building near it, meaning that whoever's piloting this thing most likely crashed to the ground for one reason or another, which lets me know the Paris operation was possibly a success for Atlas, or something went terribly wrong for the Valorant Protocol. Another thing I want to make note is the V25 logo. It seems like Valorant is moving on from the whole episodes and acts, and they're just going to be doing one long season. Nonetheless, that's everything that I could find. If I miss anything, comment down below. Till then, stay safe, be a KDA warrior, and I'll see you guys later.